Hello, dear friends. Come on, let's start revising DTAA CA Final Direct Taxation, International Taxation, topic DTAA. Quick revision. In one chart, we will finish entire chapter. Yes, DTAA is applicable only when the person is having foreign income from foreign country, that is income from foreign country. If resident country tax such income, then it is known as resident rule. If foreign country tax such income, then it is known as source rule. In India, central government may enter into an agreement with foreign country to sign such treaties, such agreements known as DTAA. DTAA prevails over Income Tax Act. DTAA or iTax Act, whichever is most favorable, is applicable, most favorable to assessee. GAR provisions are applicable. GAR provisions prevails over DTAA. Now let's begin with some further discussion, that is resident and non-resident under DTAA. Yes, DTAA is applicable for both. First we will focus on the resident and then we will go to the non-resident. Resident gets bilateral relief also and unilateral relief. Unilateral relief means only one country can give you the relief, that is India doesn't have any DTAA agreement or not signed any treaty with the foreign company. Bilateral relief, we have DTAA in with another country. So let's go for the sum solving. It will help in such a way. Under section 91 we can claim the rebate or we can get the relief under unilateral relief where there is no DTAA. So first let's find out the net total income, then gross total tax, tax plus surcharge plus cess, but before taking any deduction or before claiming any not exemption actually, but I can say before deducting TDS, TCS, MAT credit, AMT credit or self-assessment tax, then we can find average tax rate, gross tax upon net total income into 100. Then what is the actually foreign country rate on which the income is taxed in a foreign country. So we can take the lower of both and calculate the same percentile on a foreign income, and it amounts to the rebate or relief under section 91. The very important that the income must be chargeable to tax in foreign country, then only we can claim rebate under section 9. So in another part, bilateral relief, DTAA section 90 and 90A, not taxable in India or taxable in India. If the income is not taxable in India, then we don't have to do anything. But if income is taxable in India and we have the DTAA, then DTAA rate or IT Act rate, whichever is lower, and we can calculate the final tax payable. Okay, just moving to the non-resident. Having PE in India or IT enabled BPO units in India, having business connection in India, or agent other than independent agent uh, we can say the agent who conduct the conclude the contracts, deliver the goods, merchandise, or secure order on behalf of non-resident specifically. The another category is that non-resident having no PE in India, only for the fees for technical services royalty. It is chargeable at the 10% under section 115A. For other income, it's not taxable. And permanent establishment, PE is permanent establishments. So you can see on the screen that the what exactly PE means. I will read it. Place of management, a branch and an office, a factory, a workshop, a sales outlet, a warehouse. Place of extraction of natural resources, mine, oil, gas well, quarry, agent as I said before. Okay, so these two categories are there, like having P in India and having IT enabled BPO in India, or a business connection with any resident party in India, or a agent specifically working for some NR. Then the these incomes are taxable in India, and whether DTAA, on basis of DTAA or normal tax rate. If DTAA, if we have DTAA with that foreign country, then to avail such benefit of DTAA or treaty, the NR, I mean non-resident party, must have to produce TRC, that is tax resident certificate. TRC must be obtained from the resident country of NR, that is which is foreign country for us. Along with the TRC, NR should also submit its status of PAN, nationality, tax identification number in that country, period for which the residential status mentioned in TRC, address in foreign country. Section 90 proviso says that the charge of tax in respect of foreign company at the rate higher than the rate of a domestic company is chargeable shall not be regarded as less favorable charge or a levy of a tax in respect of such foreign company. This means where under the treaty of DTAA it has been said that the permanent establishment or any business connection with the resident party we have, it will be taxed at the normal rate which is charged to the other companies in India. Then it doesn't mean it will be taxed at 30%, even though it is mentioned in DTAA. Officer can charge the income at the rate 40%, which is applicable for the foreign company, and the same is not regarded as less favorable for the foreign company, that is non-resident company. That's it. I can give you some close-up of these notes. You can just go through it. I have mentioned wherever I have used short forms, I have mentioned the full forms of those on the very topmost corner. That is, BPO is known as the business process outsourcing, and FTS is fees for technical services, P is permanent establishments, CG is for the central government of India. Okay, GAR is General Anti-Avoidance Rules, and DTAA is of course the Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement. So guys, done for today. Bye bye. All the best.